What's going on, everybody? It's another episode of the RT Small Business Guru. Today, we're just reaching out to you because we're a month away from the federal government contracting season. One second. One second. Get my earpiece put back in. So yeah, we're about we're about one we're about 1 month away from the federal government contracting season, and you know the reason we're having this show is I'm a big small business enthusiast. I think there can never be too many entrepreneurs, and that's just how it's how I live my life as a serial entrepreneur. Just so you know, the United States government, they love small businesses. The more small businesses that there are in the world or in the United States government, that's more people working, that's more money in the economy, and that's more money the United States government can tax. So they're really looking forward to setting up as many small businesses as possible. And what they do when they set up small businesses, they put certain incentives out. Federal government has a program called the Small Business Administration Set Aside Program. And depending on what, you know, how much you make or how many employees you get, you can qualify as a small business. To qualify as a small business, the SBA, the Small Business Administration, they got what you call these size standard metrics. So a size standard metrics can either be how much money you make a year or how many employees that you have currently under your employ. So what a size metric is, it's the actual chart that the SBA has. You can go on their website, sba.gov, and you can get the size metrics. And what's going to happen is you're going to see, okay, for the industry that your business is in, how much money are you making? Are you still considered a small business according to the SBA size metrics? For my industry is administrative management and general management consultant. So our company, we're what you call management consultants. We go all over to any industry and we help them increase their bottom line through using management practices, next gen, and just problem solving. It doesn't have to be just the management industry. Any industry where the United States government sells products or where they buy products and services, you can be a small business in that industry. So there's a lot of people that say, hey, I do landscaping, or hey, I do party planning, I sell insurance, or I'm a real estate agent, or I'm a research scientist. Go ahead and insert whatever type of industry you're in. The United States government is going to purchase that. And if you make a certain amount of money, or if you have a certain amount of employees every year, then you could fall under what's called the size standards that's set by the Small Business Administration. And if you fall under the size standards, you are known as a small business, and then you're able to get all of the money that the Small Business Administration sets aside for you every year. So the way federal government works is every agency is going to have a budget, and that budget is going to have appropriated funds that are going to go towards companies that are small businesses. So if you're a woman-owned small business, or you're just a small business under the size standards for the Small Business Administration, what you can do is you can access that money that has been set aside for small businesses. And we really want you to understand there's millions available for small businesses. Last year, United States government did upwards of $9 trillion in contracting. 9 trillion. Every year, the United States government sets aside 5% of all the money that it contracts for small businesses. So to be eligible to get that money, you have to accomplish certain actionable tasks. First thing you have to do, you got to register with the federal government. You got to get an EIN number. An EIN number stands for Employment Identification Number. I've been doing this for about 6 years, a little bit over 6 years, and we tend to take our knowledge for granted. So to us at Artias, it's a no-brainer. Go get the EIN, go sign it, go answer the questions. But someone who's starting out their business for the first time, it might not be so much of a no-brainer. So because of that, we walk you through the steps. Go ahead and register for an EIN. We even sell an ebook that you guys can download on our website. Go to artiasit.com/bookings and you can download the ebook. And that will help you learn how to register your company for the IRS. So once you register for the IRS, you are now an official entity with the Internal Revenue Services or the United States government on the federal level. You still have to incorporate. Now, remember, today I'm just telling you the steps it's going to take for you to be able to go after set aside contracts. So, step number one, register with the IRS for an EIN number. Registration to us, it seems easy. To you, it could be complicated. If registration is complicated and you need somebody to hold your hand and walk you through registration, go ahead and reach out to us at rtsit.com/bookings, or you can reach out to me at t.tor@rtsit.com. We'll get you situated when it comes to registering for your employment identification number. Once you get that employment identification number with the IRS, next step is to form in the state that you want to do business out of. So if you're forming in California, you're either going to be organizing or you're going to be incorporating. And we'll have more on nonprofit formations later. The scope of today's conversation is we're just talking about what's going to get you set up with the federal government to get set aside contracts. So once you incorporate in your state or once you organize in your state, you now have your federal entity and you're now a state entity. Normally you have to register with your state through your Secretary of State and then through your state's franchise tax board or some part of your state that's going to take taxes. Okay, so next step, you have now registered with the federal government and you have now incorporated or organized with your state. Question is, are you ready to go after set aside contracts? No, you're not. After you're done doing that, the next step you have to take is you now have to enter or you have to create an account in a government database. Now, this government database is what all the federal agencies will be going to when they're looking at your company and the socioeconomic status that your company holds. So, if you're a small business, if you're a woman owned small business, if you're an Indian owned small business, if you're historically underutilized businesses owned small business, or if you're like me, a service disabled veteran owned small business. So you go into a government database. It's called sam.gov, Sierra Alpha Mike, sam.gov. Sam.gov is going to be your first step into being compliant to go after set aside contracts. So once you go into sam.gov, you have to create a user account. Keep in mind a lot of things that I'm going to say today on the state and also on the federal level is kind of the same. We're going to create our user account in sam.gov. Sam's going to send us an email. We're going to go ahead and click the link on that email to verify that we now have a user account in the Systems Award Management Database, sam.gov. Once you have that user account, are you ready to go after set aside contracts? Who says yes? Who says no? I guess it's clear instruction. So the answer is still no. You're still not ready to go after set aside contracts. Once you have a user account in sam.gov, now you have to register your business in sam.gov. Your user account got you access to be able to put a business in sam.gov. So there's still one more step you have to go through sam.gov, and that's registering your business. Now, sam.gov is going to ask you a bunch of questions. It's going to ask you questions like what state did you organize in? It's going to ask you what's your EIN number. It's going to ask you a bunch of questions to make sure that you're a legitimate business, meaning you're registered with the federal government and you're also registered with some state. Once you're a legitimate government, it's also going to ask you questions like, okay, they want to see if you're a small business. They're going to ask you how much money you made last year. They're going to ask you how many employees you have. They're going to ask you what is the code for the company or for what's the industry code for your company. Are you tree cutting? Are you a supermarket? Are you real estate? Are you insurance broker? Are you a social media marketer? There's a number. It's called the NAICS, North American Industry Classification Status Code. It's called a NAICS code. And that number is related to what industry your company operates in. So if I have a burger joint, there's going to be a number related to fast food industry. If I sell homes, there's going to be a number related to real estate. So once I answer all those questions in sam.gov, then sam.gov is going to check to make sure my information is correct. They're going to check with the IRS, and then they're also going to check with an entity called Cage. Uh, it's part of Defense Logistic Agency. Defense Logistic Agency is under Department of Defense. Cage is going to give you a CAGE number, a Commercial Acquisition Government Entity number, CAG, a Cage code. Once you get your Cage code, then Sam is going to fully verify you that you are a legitimate business, and now you're ready to start contracting with the United States government. Quick question. Now that you're ready to start contracting with the United States federal government, are you ready to start going after set aside contracts? The answer is still no. To go after set aside contracts after you're done with your registration in SAM, now you have to go to a particular SBA website to make sure that SBA gives you that seal of approval as a small business, no matter what your set aside is. For me, for instance, I had to go to veterans.certified.sba.gov. When someone is a hub zone, they got to go to a different website that's all under the umbrella of the SBA. But what's going to happen, you're going to go to that website to get your socioeconomic set aside certificate, and then that website that you go to is going to pull information from System Awards Management to make sure that they can give you that certificate. Once you get that certificate from that secondary SBA website, now you are ready to go after federal set aside contracts. And there's a lot of processes to registering. And again, there's people that try to get the registration and they just give up because it's a barrier to entry. Going through all that tape is a barrier to entry. I want to encourage you. We don't want you to let that be a barrier to entry. There's help all around. If you're a service disabled veteran, you can come to our nonprofit, Vets 365. We have a business development program where we teach veterans, service disabled veterans, how to get into the contracting market and how to win money in the contracting market. And then if you're any other set aside socioeconomic status, you can reach out to Artias at artiasit.com/bookings, and we'll go ahead and set you up with a package that's right so that we can get you all of your registration so that you're able to go after government contracting. So that's contracting on the federal level. And it normally takes anywhere from 1 month to 2 months, depending on, your paperwork. Now, there's federal contracting and there's state contracting. The federal contracting season is going to ramp up from the months of July to the end of the year. There's a lot of different departments that have a budget that they had to spend this year. And if they don't use all that money in their budget, the next time that the Congress is deciding how much money is going to go towards that budget, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So there's a mad dash from July to the end of the year to sell, to purchase a lot of services, a lot of products from set aside companies because they want to use that same amount of money next year, or they want to have that cushion of money. That's what the agency wants to have. So there's a mad dash. They're looking for small businesses. They're looking for women-owned small businesses. They're looking for service disabled, veteran-owned small businesses. They're looking for so many different types of small businesses that they've set aside this money in their budget for the year to bless. And that's where we come in. We don't just help you register with your business. We help you register. We help you set yourself up to where you're looked at as a low risk contractor. These contracting offices that have a budget, that have the purchasing power, they're risk averse. What I mean, it's somebody probably from the age of 25 to 45 that wants tenure or that has tenure, and they want to get to work, and they want to get to work a little bit later on time. I'm not going to say everything bad about government contracting officers, but they definitely want to leave early, and they don't want to wake up late at night thinking, man, I gave all this money to this company and now they're not going to do the job right. And then I got to go right back to make sure that I got somebody else to redo the work or to start up on the work again. unnecessary headache to the contracting officers, to the people that actually purchase your services as a small business contractor. So you always want to maintain a risk adverse posture to these government contractors. Couple ways to do that is to have a professional email. Lots of times people start small businesses and they get a Gmail or Yahoo or I hope ain't nobody got ATL or AOL still, because I don't know nobody that's AOL. So you set yourself up, you look professional. Websites are important. A lot of people do things now on Facebook and other social media platforms, but websites are the digital brick and mortar to your presence. Also, learning how to put certain keywords in your website, trying to learning how to set up your digital presence just right for site engine optimization. Not the way that your annoying friend would say, hey man, I can make you a better website. You can get ranked on Google. It's not for that. A lot of these contracting offices that are obligated to spend a certain amount of purchasing dollars on small businesses, they set web crawlers looking for small businesses with keywords in the services and products that they purchase. And if your website isn't set up to collect or to track those web crawlers, chances are you're not going to have a lot of contracting officers reaching out to you with opportunities that aren't even competitive. So you want to set yourself up to look professional, and you also want to be professional. If you look at us, we have our logo on everything. We are going to be the upper part of the contracting pyramid. We will not be a small business forever. It will be a multinational conglomerate. Our tiers will be a multinational conglomerate, operating in the trillions and managing assets for the United States government. It's our mission to be the preferred solution provider for the United States government. So, we take that very seriously. That's why you see these shows. That's why you see our pyramid logos on everything. And it's because we want contracting officers, we want our vendors, everyone's a customer. We want when people look at us, we want them to know that we mean business when it comes to set aside contracting. Now, we have a couple of contracts, so I'll take a minute just to brag on our company. So far, we have over $6 million awarded in contracting dollars. We have over $5.5 million awarded to our team and partners. And going back to our NAICS code, we are administrative managers and general management consultants. So not only do we win contracts, we teach people how to win contracts. We advise them. We show them how to use next gen IT resources to speed up the time to turn in a proposal. One proposal that we won that was valued over $5 million, we only had 4 days to put that proposal together, and we were able to turn it out in 14 hours and win that proposal. So we understand how companies need to position themselves to take advantage of all the set aside dollars promised to you by the Small Business Administration. And we want to encourage you, now is the time to get into contracting. Now is the time to register. Don't wait till July, because what happens if you wait till July and it takes you 2 months to get your federal certificate? That's already 2 months out the season. You might not be able to collect lots and lots of money that's available to you. Also, the reason that you should have a sense of urgency for registering your small business is it's a numbers game. Let's be honest. When it comes to contracting, there's so much opportunity out there, but you can't win it all. And even if you put in 10 contracts, statistically speaking, industry wide, you're going to win two of those contracts. So that's good because you know that there's always opportunity coming in. So it's on you to have a high volume of proposals, because if you're at the industry standard of 20%, and let's say you turn in $100 worth of proposals, well, at least you're making $20. Now multiply that to $1 million worth of proposals. Multiply that to 100 million. You turn in $100 million worth of proposal responses, then you can forecast. If you're a regular company, you can forecast closing your year out at $20 million. Now, last year, remember, United States government did 9 trillion plus in purchasing. So, do you think that there's opportunity for you to collect millions of dollars in Small Business Administration set aside contracting? I hope you're shaking your head yes, because the answer is yes. And we want to encourage you to get the steps started today. Don't be a wantrepreneur, be an entrepreneur. That small business that you have where you sell patches, where you make custom embroidered patches, there's contracts out for that. That small business that you have where you just do social media marketing, there's contracts out for that. That small business that you have where you make website, where you do graphic design, where you sell trinkets, there's contracts out for that. There's so many contracts out for that. And that's just on the federal level. We haven't even talked about international. We haven't talked about state contracting. So we'll use this we'll use this opportunity. We'll use this break in the show. I don't see anybody watching. Let me check my stats. Yeah, we don't have nobody watching. Let me share this on Facebook. Just try to get a few more people to watch. I'm just putting the title RT's Small Business Set Aside Guru. Here's episode 3. So to encourage you, register for your EIN number. It's free to do. It's free 95. You don't have to pay any money. All you have to do is understand the questions that the government's asking you. If you're not used to registering a business, or you don't know what questions they're asking you, I recommend that you get with a knowledgeable person that knows how to set up an EIN. For instance, there's a question that will ask you, okay, are you setting up as an individual or are you setting up as a business? That should be self-explanatory, right? You should be signing up that you're setting up as an individual. Then another question will ask you, are you setting up as a corporation, an LLC? Are you setting up as a sole proprietorship? Or are you setting up as a partnership? So lots of times people think, well, I already said that I'm an individual that's opening this business. So I guess, should I register as partner? Should I register as sole proprietorship because I'm myself? And they don't understand what registration to take. For instance, in that situation, it's best to register as an LLC. LLCs are better than sole proprietorships, and they're better than partnerships. It keeps basically your business can lose a lot of money, but no one can come after you personally. It keeps you in the arm. It keeps your business an arm's length away from your personal assets. But going into that, a lot of people might even say, "Well, I'm registering a business, so let me say that I'm a business setting up this business." Then you get to a question, the IRS registration will tell you, "All right, give us the EIN number for the business that's registering this business," because businesses can have subsidiary and child businesses. So we in the business world, us, people like us who are used to registering businesses, we take for granted what we know. And those type of answers are no-brainer answers to us, but it might not be a no-brainer answer to you. So again, we recommend that you reach out to us, https :// artiusit.com /bookings will get you right. We'll make sure that we really smoothly take you through the whole process of registering a business. And again, now is the time to do it. You don't want to wait until the contracting season kicks off before you start registering a business. All right, so that's pretty cool. We got one person watching right now. Okay, okay. It might be me that's watching, but I'm still cool with that. So we talked about federal contracting and we talked about the season coming up. Depending on where you live, your local municipality could have a different contracting cycle. Chances are they won't. Chances are your contracting cycle will be from a regular fiscal year, which is January 1st to December 31st every year. Some county governments, some local townships might be different, but towards the end of the year, last half of the year, last 2 quarters in a fiscal year, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to get money from set aside contracting because these these government agencies want to use all the money that they have for the budget. So we talked about federal contracting, but now we're gonna talk about state contracting. When I say state contracting, I mean everything state level and below. So that's down to your local public utility or your local township, all the way up to your state organizations like State Department of Corrections or Office of Inspector General for your state. States don't have 100% set aside policy like the federal government has for small businesses. States have incentives to draw small businesses and to spend money on small businesses. That's because most states, the funds that they're using are going to trickle down from the federal government. And the federal government has a mandate that 5% of its contracted dollars has to be used on small businesses. So even though the state won't have a 100% set aside program, chances are the state's going to have something that's derivative of a set aside program where they'll probably give you an incentive instead of giving you exclusivity on a contract. Let's look at California. Let's take California, for example. In my state, in the sunny, beautiful state of California, if you're from Texas, you might not agree. I got buddies that in Texas, they think California's falling apart. So if you're from the beautiful state of California, yeah, there is an incentive that's going to be given to you for being a small business. That incentive is going to come with, I believe it's 3% that you bid on a contract. 3% of that 3% of that contract is going to be evaluated. That contract that you bid on or that opportunity you pursue in the state levels, it's going to say that a certain percent of this is going to be not looked at. So in California, if you're a small business and if you're a disabled veteran business entity, 5 cents, 5% is gonna be is not going to be evaluated. 5% of every dollar. So 5 cents off every dollar is not evaluated. So our company in the state of California, we're a small business and we're a disabled veteran business entity. We went ahead and registered in the state. And so because of that, if I'm bidding on a contract that's $100, that contract's only going to be evaluated at $95. So if it's neck and neck between me and another company that doesn't have a small business disabled veteran business entity classification or certificate, and we both bid $100, let's say I bid $101 and they bid $99. After my incentive has been evaluated, and I have an incentive for being a small business and a disabled veteran business entity, after that has been evaluated, then I'm seen as being lower than the guy that bid 99 cents and I win the contract. I'll still get paid at the $100, at the $101 that I bid, but I'll be evaluated at a lower price, and that's my incentive. That's how California state government fulfills their obligation to the federal dollars they're using in their state. Great program. And it's not just for disabled veteran businesses. You can be a small business. Different states have different specialty populations, different socioeconomic populations. Georgia is big on small businesses. I know in the Midwest, like around Illinois and those states, those tri state areas, there's normally the minority or women business entity set aside. Department of Transportation has a disabled business enterprise certificate. And we talked earlier before about all these federal government, the process it takes to be able to take advantage of the federal set asides. So just like how there's a process to take advantage of the federal set asides, there's a process to take advantage of state set asides. You have to register in your state to become a state vendor. If you go back to the beginning of the video, when we was talking about getting your EIN number and then organizing or incorporating your state just to be able to register for an account with System Awards Management, to be able to later on get a certificate with a certifying body from the SBA. Same similar process on the state level. For instance, New York, our company is a state level service disabled veteran owned business. To register for that process, we had to sign up in New York. We had to get what's called a foreign registration, meaning we were out of state business registering to do business in New York. Once you register to do business in New York, then we had to register to become a vendor with the state of New York. Whatever state you're operating in, just registering and do business in the state doesn't mean that you're an actual vendor to do business with the state. Doing business in the state and doing business with the state is different. Doing business in the state is, let's say I set up a magazine stand in the airport in New York. I can do business in that airport, and the people that come off the plane who aren't the government, they can buy from me any way. They can use credit, check, cash, anything they want to use to purchase from me. But if the government wants to purchase from me, or if I want to sell to the government, that state government, I have to become a vendor in that state. So New York, California, Georgia, Florida, Texas. I think we're in 14 states right now. Once we're done with our state level registration, just saying we can do business in the state, then we had to go through another process to do business with the state. And a lot of people don't understand, well, why can't I